seem like a pattern, not more like a pattern, but it's becoming a pattern whereby you see people cry out saying there's been demolition of their houses and they were not told prior, or they were not given ample time to be able to prepare, or, you know, do what is right if need be. What are your takes on this matter?
The issue of Oroshoki is not today. It's not even this year. And the party of the government are not saying the total truth. The side of the resident are not saying the total truth. I have visited that place even more than 3 times. Look, when because I grew up in Bariga, so Oworo is a stone throw. So I know, in fact, I can call out the bus stop from Bariga down to Oworo. So it's a place that I was familiar with. In fact, on my radio program, almost like 2 times I have sent my own team to even visit the area too. What happened was that if you look at the beginning of Mainland Bridge, before Mainland Bridge was erected in 1991, there is a place called Olokomeji. That is our route from Bariga linking Oworo before the Mainland Bridge was done. Before you get to Mainland Bridge, you see an overhead bridge that comes from Akpeleyin down to Olojojo bus stop in Oworo. That is the bridge that later link up when the Mainland was built. We know where people build houses to at that particular time. From Olorunfunmi, who happens to be the last bus stop in Oworo at that particular place, we call it L&K, down to Isale Oworo, we know the portion where people run away from water. But there are some certain ancestral landowners that are selling that place and they are opening up that place, and government was sitting down. In fact, government agencies were doing surveying for them. That one is
which they should have actually stopped.
Then another thing again is that if you now through the Mainland Bridge, by the time you want to start, look at your left. For some of us that were born and raised in Lagos, you will know that from the beginning of that bridge, by that left before, they normally take sound out. Those days, you discover that they built a lot of houses there. There are some certain houses there that did not get approval of the government. That is a fact. But inside Oworo, there are some that government has done surveying for them. They have a polling unit during election. And government did not say anything for years. Another thing again is that the Oba of Oworo is not even helping matters. If people are within your domain and they are crying for several months like that, you're supposed to be intermediary between them and the government. In fact, there are some of them that are accusing the Obas that allegedly the Oba is also involving, because there are some real estate where they are sending people, wait for it in the next few months, you see that they are building them. But even if you are going to send them away, they are Lagos residents. I love the way permanent secretary of land later met with them and talked some certain things, and some of them don't get approval. They have pasted a lot of notice and whatever. This will have been done first. I know there are some certain people, even if you put notice, they can tear it off. They may not, you understand now. But there are some that their houses are affected and they were not informed. It's a fact. But there are some that have been informed, especially those ones that near that left side of Mainland Bridge. You understand now? So, and that is the situation. I think our government should know how to engage people. And where you are sending people out now, in few months we are going to see big houses there. We know what happened in Morocco now. I didn't know, after sending poor people away from Morocco, I didn't know building houses there. In some part of Lekki, we know what happened at that particular time. We know what happened in Elemoro now, and all other places. I think our government should know one way that, okay, if things happen like that. I remember former governor of Ogun State, Ibikule Amosun. That was a particular place at Yano, whatever, along after, I've forgotten the name of that, after Singer. That place belongs to a particular association. They bought land for very long, but there are some Omoniles that later sold it for those people. Over close to 500 houses has been built there. They now said they want to take over, and they have the judgment. I'm also called them. You can't send over close to 50,000 people away from your land. Fine, you have the doc. Okay, this is what is going to happen. We are going to give you a place, another place. Although another place we want to give you is more costlier than this. you had little money, then we'll give you. And that's how I said to it. He now told those ones, we are going to do ratification for you. And that is why they brought home shatter at that particular time. Ask them to go and get CFO there. You understand now? He now asked them they can pay for 5 years. And they are paying little. How much later sold for maybe 500,000, and now said they be paying little by little. That is how government is meant to take care of the people. But also our people too. Before you buy land in Lagos, go and do search. Especially when we are poor, the little money you have, you are not going to go and build a house. Few years to come, you see some people come and demolish it. Let us always, it's better to go and build a house in Ogun State and the house is standing than to build in Lagos and somebody will come 2 years after and demolish it. And that's the thing. It's so painful the way we waste resources in Nigeria. Look at all those houses. Look at how, where are they going to start? Government is meant to give succor. Okay, it has happened. It has happened. You find ways around it. And that is the problem. They need to give support to the people. Okay.
All right. So I want to hear from Segun Shokito. What are your thoughts as regards also the Nuruddin Adegbenro's reaction to the matter? Do you buy into the idea? Excuse me. Do you buy into the idea, or there are other ways you think the government should have actually gone about it, or even the people should have gone about it?
No, I mean, look. I think the issues that we have as a country are very well documented, and these things keep repeating themselves. We obviously have a problem with understanding of roles, understanding of purpose, responsibilities, and so on and so forth on the part of every stakeholder. So government itself, a lot of times, the people in government tend to think that because they're in government, they're all powerful, they're God. They can do anything and nothing will happen. And as a result of that mentality and that mindset, they continue to act in a very, very high-handed manner. They continue to act in ways that actually destroy value. Destruction of value is something that Nigerian governments are very, very well known for. You may want to develop the country, you may want to develop infrastructure, you may want to provide organization and planning, but because we know that a lot of issues in Nigeria are not done properly, and people always find ways to cut corners, including government officials who aid and abet Nigerians that may not necessarily want to go through the right channel to get things done properly. These types of things occur. When they happen, since you know that there are loopholes in your own system, in your bureaucracy, I think we really, really, really need to find a way to resolve these issues than to just take money. We're talking about building the Nigerian economy to a $1 trillion economy by 2027 or 2028, according to the president. If we continue to demolish buildings that were built with hundreds of millions of naira, sometimes running into billions, how are we going to achieve, growth and development in the economy and in the country? So I agree with my brother, Mr. Adegbenro, completely. I think that the government has a lot of work on their hands, honestly, because if government is up and doing, if government does things as it's supposed to be done, if it is impossible to compromise the system as designed by government, if government officials are unable to compromise the system, then you will not have these abuses that result in the destruction of value. So I think that the government on its own part needs to look inwards and find a way. There is something called Servicom in the civil service. It's supposed to be a quality control process, and members of the public are encouraged to relate and report service failures, abuse of office, and things like that to Servicom. But I have not really heard any serious intervention on the part of this agency of government where, you can say, oh, they apprehended one official of government that was demanding bribes or that was extorting money from people or that was giving permits, and licenses to people that are not deserving of such. So these systems and structures that have been put in place to guarantee and ensure that government officials behave properly so that society is better organized, we need to make them work. So for me, demolition at this point, where will those people go? So the question is that you have to weigh on a scale of balance, demolishing those houses, sending those people packing, sending people, into maybe bankruptcy because those structures might very well be the entirety of their life savings. What do you do with them? How do you balance that with maybe the disruption that those houses may be causing in the places that they've been built? So I think that it's a very tough one, but I hope that the government can find a way to listen to the cries of these people, get them to pay fines, maybe pay very heavy fines or something. But to destroy an entire, community as a result of these infractions or supposed infractions, for me, it's a bit. I'm not very comfortable with it at all. I think we need to find a better way to do these things.
All right, thank you so much for that one. I actually buy into the idea to destroying properties after being built over the years, the sweat of all those people, and look at the amount of people, the number of people basically that we have out there who they have literally rendered homeless. I don't think that's the way to go. But Gratitude, you have a question? Please go on.
Okay, so my question is to Chris. So now that this is about to be put in place for the demolition, how can the government resolve this issue and address the residents' concerns? What do you think can be done at this point?
All right. To start with, let me start by saying that we run a nation that runs on disrupted system, on the guilt line of both the government and the governed. Over the years, Nigeria has been an abandoned system where anything just goes. We are not structured, we're not disciplined, we're not focused. We just act like the nation is some kind of a jungle where anything goes. So if that has become the culture of both the government and the governed over the years, so by the time you now want to start bringing structure into it, there'll be a lot of resistance and then fight here and there. It's either the government is not getting it right, or the people are not accepting what is done, and all of so it's a guilt line on both sides. Let's start from there. All right, now bringing it down to what has happened in Owoloshoki. We passed through there and then we see what that place looked like. Over the years, what it has been, even till now, sound feeling and all of that, but it has been a compromised area for decades. For those of us that grew up in Lagos, you understand that. All right, now. The first thing to look at is this: the approval process for building. How disciplined are we as government and as a people in thoroughly going through that process of approval for building? So you see that government officials, they create lacuna so that that breed corruption, so they give approval illegally. And then there are people too that build illegally. There are landowners that sells land illegally that shouldn't be for residential areas. But we're only too concerned about our selfish gain. So there's no discipline in the process. So how strong, how tight is the approval process? That is one thing that must be looked into. The number two, the verification process. I think Mr. Negbito mentioned that people should do well to go do search before buying properties, before a building, and that is important. Do your verification process right, because oftentimes the town planning guys they map out the entire states, areas, go for residential and all of that. So follow through. So if you take your time to do due diligence in verification and you are disciplined, you will not buy a land that will cause you trouble down the years. You'll be well guided. That's important. Don't just say because they are selling, you jump at it and all of. Don't do that. Go through the discipline of verification. Then, very importantly, government officials that legally sell spaces, that legally permit building they know that in years to come will be demolished. These guys should be made to take responsibility for their actions. It is wrong. They take advantage of ignorant Nigerians. They take advantage of gullible Nigerians too. That just buying these properties. Some are big time investment, lifetime investment, and all has gone down the drain. It is painful. It could lead to the death of some people. It could lead to high blood pressure. It could just kill. It is damaging. But if this guy will have taken money and they will have gone, it is wrong. We should bring these guys to book. All right. Then the citizens' ignorance and impunity is another angle. Some citizens are just like, they are ignorant, and there's no defense for ignorance. So that's why we say go through the verification process. And number two is the indiscipline and impunity of some citizens too. They just think that, okay, nothing will happen. They just, run blind risk and go into properties where they should have done enough verification, and then they do all of that. And at the end of the day, this happened, and we are crying foul. Why? Then also it has happened, but then we also look at the government compensation plan, because these people have invested a lot of money. Yeah, Mr. Sheldon was talking about the building, the project of the vision of building a $1 trillion economy by 2030. And then if investment in housing, have been demolished like that, it would be a setback to the collection of that goal. All right. So what is government compensation process? Government should do a verification, those that are guilty, and then those that probably have their documentation and all of that. And then the compensation process should come weighty. It's important so we can salvage the economy, because those have invested their lifetime investment, or some even borrowed money, taking loan from the bank to build, and it has gone down the drain. They have to pay the bank back. How do they do that? So we have to look at the overall picture of the economy. So the compensation process of government is also very important here. And I will say again that government should conduct thorough investigation on how these permissions are given, knowing that they're not supposed to be given in the first place for building construction. So they should look at the officers in charge, the senior officers, those that are in charge. They should investigate and fish out these guys. That is how government can prove they are innocent and are not culprits in this disaster. So government should come out clean. And ultimately, what has to be done for the general good of society. It's painful we've come to this, but as I've outlined, there should be discipline from the part of the government and of the people. We should be sensitive to these people that are going through this. They're now homeless. All of a sudden, they are homeless. And they probably use their lifetime savings to build these houses, and now it's demolished. So it is fourth line of both the government and the governed. Ultimately, we should just come to that point of getting things right. Nigeria is being like a crude space for too long. We should be structured. We should be structured, for crying out loud. We should get things right. Nigeria is over 60 years old, and we are still in this mud as a nation. It is wrong. We should be better organized and get this right. Thank you.
Said is more from everything from your analysis, and of course Shego Shopito and Nuruddin. I think the word is structure. We need structure, even both as a resident, as a citizen of Nigeria, and even as the federal government. We need to be structured, and we need to obey the rules and the laws that governs us, because I feel like if we do the right thing, we won't be in that situation. And likewise, the federal government, they should be able, or the Lagos State government, let me use the federal government so I can put everyone into one one compass, is that we need to also do what is right, just as the federal government needs to do what is right also. Like I said, they didn't just start building houses right there. Something, somewhere, someone from the federal government has allocated a house, and like Nuruddin said, they actually did a survey and they started building. So it's entirely the fault of both the citizen and the federal government. Well, moving on, not to